We're diving straight into the biggest sporting event in human history. The 2026 World Cup is officially upon us. And I gotta tell you right up front, it's not just slightly different. We are talking about a completely different beast here. 5 billion. Over 5 billion people. To put that in perspective, that is literally more than half the entire planet expected to tune in and watch at least a piece of this tournament. We're all going to be watching the exact same thing, feeling that exact same stomach-dropping tension when a penalty goes to the spot, and just losing our minds over the same goals. In a world that feels kind of fractured right now, this sort of rare, shared experience, it's absolutely unmatched.
But here's the catch, and honestly, it's exactly why we put this explainer together for you. The biggest sporting event in history has radically changed. If you don't understand exactly why or how the whole thing is structured now, you're going to spend the entire tournament totally confused. So let's break it down right now so you're absolutely ready for kickoff.
Section 1. A completely different World Cup.
48. That is the absolute crucial new number you've got to remember. Previous World Cups, they had 32 teams. But FIFA looked at that old number, basically said, yeah, that's not enough, and just tossed 16 more countries into the mix, just like that.
Now you might be thinking, hey, moving from 32 teams to 48 teams sounds amazing, right? I mean, on paper, it's more football, more underdogs, more of that beautiful chaos we love. But let's be real for a second and look at the practical reality. It also means we're getting more games that maybe nobody really asked for. We're going to see group stage matches where the stakes are, well, basically zero. Sure, we might get a genuinely historic upset, but we're also guaranteed some highly forgettable matchups between teams that maybe shouldn't be there. You're going to get both, for sure.
Okay, moving on to the next massive change. We're looking at a staggering geographic footprint here for the first ever three-nation co-hosted World Cup. The United States is handling the heavy lifting with 16 cities and 60 matches, while Canada and Mexico are splitting up the rest. Just try to wrap your head around the sheer scale of 3 enormous countries sharing one single tournament. It's wild.
So what does this actually mean? Well, it means incredibly chaotic logistics for the players. Think about this. A player could theoretically finish up a group stage game over in Vancouver, have to fly all the way across the continent to New York for the round of 16, and then pack up all over again and fly down to play a quarterfinal in Mexico City. The geography involved here is just absolutely staggering.
And, here's where it gets kind of funny. Out of all these massive, glamorous, global destinations across 3 entire countries, the final, the biggest single game on planet Earth, is surprisingly happening right at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Yep, the absolute pinnacle of global sports is in New Jersey. And honestly, fair enough.
Section 2. The unforgiving new format.
Remember that old, reliable system of 8 groups of 4? Yeah, that's completely gone. Because you can't just divide 48 teams that neatly. FIFA had to invent something totally new. So, step 1, we now have 16 groups. Step 2, there are 3 teams in each group. And step 3, this is the big one, every team only plays 2 matches in the group stage.
So how do you advance? Well, the top 2 teams from every single group move on, plus the 8 best third-place finishers. Now, I know on paper that sounds pretty simple, right? But it really isn't. Because you only have 2 games per group, your margin for error is practically non-existent.
There are literally no second chances here. Actually, scratch that. It's worse. The pressure is going to be immense. One bad result, and your tournament is basically over before it even really started. A single missed penalty in Game 1 could literally send a team packing with absolutely zero chance to fix it in the next match. That kind of intense pressure, it's going to create some absolutely spectacular moments. And for sure, some absolute meltdowns.
Section 3. Favorites, pressure, and underdogs.
So, you already know the Titans. You've got France, Brazil, England. You have Spain, who play football like it's some deeply held life philosophy, and Germany, who are quietly rebuilding and honestly, quietly really dangerous. And of course, there's Argentina, our defending champions. This one is monumental, folks, because it signals the official final chapter of the Lionel Messi era.
Then we have the United States men's national team. There is an enormous, literally unprecedented amount of pressure on them playing on home soil. They are fielding what is genuinely the best generation of young American talent the country has ever produced. The crowds are going to be electric, but the expectations, they are massive. If they crash out early in this unforgiving format, the entire national fan base will completely spiral. We've all seen it happen before.
But hey, there's a flip side to all this pressure: the dark horses.
With 16 extra teams, more group stage games, and more paths through, the real magic of this expanded format is that more doors are wide open for a genuine underdog to completely stun the planet. Remember how Morocco shocked the world reaching the semifinals back in 2022? Imagine what a fully expanded format does for teams just like that. Suddenly, a nation nobody even thought about becomes everyone's second favorite team. One of those doors is going to fly open. We just don't know which one it is yet.
Section 4. The Billion-Dollar Machine.
Okay, just let this number interrupt you for a second. $5 billion. The 2026 World Cup is projected to generate over $5 billion in revenue. It's an absolutely staggering figure that really shows you just how much money is relentlessly driving this event behind the scenes, with FIFA offering the largest prize money pool in the history of the tournament.
It's a really wild contrast, isn't it? On one hand, you've got players literally playing for life-changing sums of money. Clubs are constantly fighting over player welfare and injury risks, and agents are negotiating behind the scenes like it's this high-stakes chess match. But somewhere right in the middle of all this massive global commercial machinery, there is still just a football tournament happening. The sport itself hasn't changed. The ball is still round. The goal is still the exact same size. But everything around it has become this massive commercial beast, and yet we all watch anyway, every 4 years, without fail.
Section 5. Better or just bigger?
So, if you really want to summarize the entirety of the 2026 World Cup in one concise, impactful sentence, it all comes down to this: 48 teams across 3 countries in one massive tournament.
And that leaves us with a really important question, one worth sitting with. With more teams, more matches, and definitely more money than ever before, does more actually make the tournament better? Or does it really just make it bigger? Think about that. If you want to stay ahead of everything happening between now and kickoff, make sure to subscribe. We'll be bringing you a lot more fast, honest explainers just like this one, keeping you in the loop without ever wasting your time.